All this offseason talk regarding your Chicago Bulls has me asking a question. Are the Chicago Bulls wrong for not going full rebuild? Y'all know we got to talk about that. The Bulls got their opponent for the last Summer League game, and there's a trade that's out there for Zach LaVine. Y'all know we got to talk about all this, break it down, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys of Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode for Shy Bulls podcast. If you tuned in with me today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. So every time we drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. Now, look, a lot of things going on this offseason. We got trades, we got Summer League, we got some explosiveness coming out of Summer League. But as of right now, there is still some discontent with the Chicago Bulls and some of their moves that they've made these last few weeks or months. And a lot of people was like, man, why haven't the Bulls fully embraced going for the rebuild? It was recently published out there, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but the Chicago Bulls are not really necessarily interested in being a bottom of the league type team to be in that rebuild phase that a lot of people want the Chicago Bulls to be in. The Bulls front office has come out plenty of times and reiterated that they still want to see this young team be competitive. When they even made some of these trades, and you can kind of look at some of these trades, that the Chicago Bulls want to remain relevant. And I know it's going to hit some people hard, and they're going to say, why don't we just embrace the full tankathon? I get it, but I always throw it out there. Even if the Chicago Bulls tank this season, even if they tank this season, is no guarantee that they're going to get Cooper Flag. Now, I understand that this draft is deep. I understand that a lot of people want to continuously see the Chicago Bulls improve. That I am on that board, but I don't believe in damaging the culture for the sake of a pick. You can obviously build that culture back up, but I believe it takes that much longer when the Chicago Bulls are in prime position right now. But before we talk about the position that they're in right now, I want to talk about what a potential full rebuild could have looked like before we've gotten to the day that we're here right now, to where we're like, damn, Bulls, you kind of gave up the assets necessary to even go into rebuild mode. But I want to talk about Alex Caruso first. He was one of the first dominoes to fall for the Chicago Bulls. That was a trade that a lot of people felt like the Bulls pretty much just crapped out on. And I understand it to a degree, but I understand it from the Chicago Bulls side as well. When you traded Alex Caruso, your intentions was, hey, let's get the best value back. And I would say that the Chicago Bulls, though they did not get the draft pick, they did get some great value back. You get a young player in Josh Giddey with 3 years of experience already, who's still only 21 years old, that you can possibly have here for the foreseeable future. I know we love Alex Caruso. I know we love Mr. Headband and everything that he brought. I know that a lot of us felt as if he was the most valuable asset on the Chicago Bulls. There were reports that other teams offer multiple first-round picks. But my question is, okay, with those first-round picks, what do you do with those? What do the Chicago Bulls do with those? We do know that a lot of guys right now, when you draft them, and that's in any sport, when you draft guys, there are some for sure hits, but then after that, you just gambling. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. You know what I'm saying? You just gambling. And a lot of, so I understood it to a degree, but you know what I'm saying? The Bulls did miss out on something, I believe, but no trade is perfect. There's always going to be a winner in a trade and a loser. It's very seldom that you see both sides win a trade. Obviously, it's still to be determined on who actually is going to win this trade. Obviously, on paper, a lot of people say OKC won this trade, but Alex Caruso is up there in age. Josh Giddey is a lot younger, and one guy has a longer runway than Alex Caruso. So we talk about that. Now we talk about, could the Bulls possibly have added Zach LaVine and Caruso and package them up for a large return? Yes. But let's just say that the Bulls, if they still had their sights set on Josh Giddey and his situation, what are you getting back from OKC to suffice, you know what I'm saying, and make up other than the picks that we all wanted in regards to players over there? Isaiah Joe? Okay, fine. He's not a terrible player. Who's the other young kid they just re-signed? Jackson or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can package these two up as much as you want, but does the deal in return make sense? Are you just getting a couple guys back that you really don't necessarily want to play, or do those players even fit what you're trying to do for the team? So that's why I got a little tricky when people say, well, we could have packaged Zach LaVine up with Alex Caruso, but yes. But the question is, does it make sense for the Chicago Bulls? Does it make sense for the players that's already on this squad? And then we move on into DeMar DeRozan. Let's keep it a bug. DeMar DeRozan was a free agent, y'all. The Bulls did the signing trade, but they didn't have to get involved in that. You know what I'm saying? So for them to get involved in that and then come out with Chris Duarte and then a player that they waived and then 2 second-round picks, with the way that the market is looking right now, is that the best? Probably. You know what I'm saying? And then when you consider Nikola Vucevic and we talk about him, yeah. Y'all think that we the only ones that's smart? No, it's other smart execs and people around this league that say, damn, Vooch, where you been? Damn, Vooch, what you been doing? Damn, Vooch, can you be any worse? Just because we the only ones that watch 82 games of the Chicago Bulls does not mean that at least some people are peeking in during any part of those 82 to say, when I watch the Chicago Bulls, why is Nikola Vucevic so slow on defense? When I watch the Chicago Bulls, why is Nikola Vucevic as big as he is and got undersized men on him? Why he's not using his post skills to take advantage of that? Or why is Nikola Vucevic jacking and missing all these damn threes? Y'all think we the only ones that see that? The point is that these guys that we talked about, yes, Caruso had the highest, you know what I'm saying, the value around there. But when we talk about Zach LaVine, nobody really wants him. You know what I'm saying? He's injury prone. You know what I'm saying? A lot of confusion, not a lot of confusion, but a lot of discussion regarding Zach LaVine and how he impacts winning. And then when we talk about Nikola Vucevic, we don't even talk about him in a good light. So we expected somebody to come and take our bad pickings and help us transform this team. So this leads to the point to where I believe the Bulls were already kind of set up for their youth movement already. Yes, they had veterans on their team that can contribute to winning and that might have the expectation set for the Chicago Bulls at a different level with those players on the team. But at the end of the day, it still wasn't good enough. You know what I'm saying? So, and while they were working with those with those old vets on the squad, the Chicago Bulls finally brought Coby White along. Now we're going to see what he's going to turn to, you know, with a larger role. You've seen P. Will come through battle injuries, but overall still become a solid 3-and-D player as of right now with the potential to be even more than that. You've seen Ayo come in strong, have a bad second season, and then last season explode onto the scene, and then like every single month improve his production. We've seen highlights and glimpses of Julian Phillips before he got hurt. We seen a little bit of Orlap Bitim. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't the prettiest, but we seen it. And I say all this to say that the Bulls already were kind of in a decent position, so they won't have to tear it all down and start off with a bunch of first and second round picks or a bunch of guys that they picked out of the G League that they like, or a bunch of guys that they just handed off players for, and then in return, you just don't know what you're going to get. The Chicago Bulls have nice young pieces that they can work with to push this or accelerate the quote-unquote rebuild. That's the whole point. The point is that I believe the Bulls they have accelerated their rebuild in a way, because now you got Coby White, who comes in with four years of experience. He's 23 years old. You got Ayo Dosunmu going into another year at 24 years old, already has the experience. Patrick Williams coming in with another year, already has the experience with 22 years at 22 years of age. Then we're not talking about Bateem, who's 24, Dalen Terry, that's 21, Julian Phillips, that's 20. You know what I'm saying? We still don't know what Adama Sanogo is going to be for the Chicago Bulls, but at the age of 21, hey, if he does get some tick, you okay with it. And then we talking about the players that they picked up. They picked up some younger guys with experience. So the Jalen Smiths, you know what I'm saying? Your Josh Giddies. So you have about how many? Like that's like 7 or 8 people that we just named that are relatively young, but still come with some basketball experience already to where you can brush up on the little things. They already know the way of the NBA. They already know how different teams are going to approach them. Different players are going to attack them and how they need to attack or approach certain games. Or since these guys were placed in certain situations, they have that experience now. When you talk about the experience that these guys are coming with, they coming with a lot of experience. You got Ayo, Kobe, Pat, Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, who just for the past 2 seasons seen what it meant to play meaningful games in the second half of the season to vie for a playoff spot. They eventually went into the play-in, and then that's experience though. Even if that single elimination game was their only game, to me, that's still some type of playoff experience. Some type, maybe not playoff-esque, but some type. And now you bringing on Josh Giddey, who went through who was on a team that was rebuilding, and then who saw some success with that, and then went on to win playoff series. So now your lead point guard, who I anticipate to be your point guard, is going to come in and know what it feels like to have to slow the game down to close out a game in tough moments, like playoff games. That comes with Josh Giddey. The same thing can be said about Jalen Smith over there when he was with Indiana last year. He had some playoff experience. So it's not like you coming in and you grabbing a bunch of guys from just fresh out of college or the G League and Ignite. None of that. You're getting guys that came in and got real NBA experience. So I believe the rebuild has been accelerated just a little bit, and I honestly don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. I don't see that the Chicago Bulls will do a whole complete 180 and then change direction and say we got to get rid of Kobe White, we got to get rid of Ayo Dosunmu, we got to get rid of Patrick Williams. I don't see that when these guys have skill sets that you want on your team when it comes to shooting, defending, and all the other things that come with them. Then to say, let me go grab 3 young punks out of college, maybe from Arizona, UNC, or Duke, or wherever they coming from, and hope that these guys can just suddenly explode onto the scene. And now the Chicago Bulls are this, championship team. No, it does not work like that. And at least in my opinion. So for right now, I'm looking at the Chicago Bulls for not being wrong for going into a full rebuild. None of these picks are guaranteed. None of the draft picks that you hit are guaranteed except for a select few. And right now, the Bulls, honestly, to keep it a buck with you, even if they stay in competition, all you got to do is make sure you stay within top 10. And honestly, you can go ahead and compete your tail off the entire season and pull a Dallas Mavericks. What is a Dallas Mavericks? We gonna compete all season long. But once we come to that conclusion that, hey, we ain't going no damn well, which we already know ain't happening, we just gonna tank away the last few games and make sure the pick is top 10 protected so we can keep the pick. That's it. That's it. We don't have to watch trash basketball. We don't have to go out here and root on a team that only wins 10 games. We can go out here and win on and go out here and support a team that's fighting for a play-in spot, show them a lot of love, and be like, fuck it. At the end of the season, just keep the pick. But during the entire season, we was rocking with the Young Bucks. We seen them get up and down the court. We seen some explosive plays, some explosive games from Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, Patrick Williams, whoever may rise to the occasion. But guess what? We ain't going through 15 games of straight losses or 8-game losing streaks or nothing like that. It ain't none of that. It shouldn't be none of that. So I'm okay with that. I'd rather root on a young team that's gritty, that's fiery, and that's fighting for wins and want to see their growth and their ascension and accelerate this process. Accelerate this process. Because if you're looking at some teams that's around this league, it's been teams that's been down for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your Detroit Pistons. Look at your Detroit Pistons. Bottom of the league the last 2 seasons. Guess what they picked? I believe it was only 3 or 4. So even if you take all the games away, there ain't no guarantee that you getting that top pick, my boy. That's it. That's it. So I don't think the Chicago Bulls organization is wrong for not fully going into a rebuild, because I don't believe that you just start giving away some of your young players and hope that you can get a player that's better. These guys have worked their asses off. They deserve an opportunity, just like AK and Mark Eversley gave the opportunity to a bunch of older guys and DeMar, Zach LaVine, and Vooch. These young guys deserve some leeway too. These young guys deserve an opportunity to prove themselves as well. So y'all let me know, are the Chicago Bulls wrong for not going for a rebuild? And what is a full rebuild in your mind? Let me know down below. Now, before we get up out of here, we just got to mention that the Chicago Bulls received their last opponent for the Summer League game, which is going to take place on Saturday, I believe. And that's going to be against Bronny and the Los Angeles Lakers. That should be a fun one. Definitely make sure y'all tune in so we can turn up and have a little fun during the live call. And then before we go, can we talk about the constantly putting out, and me and C-Dub might have to really dive into this, but I want to just get y'all thoughts on it. And I'm not really going to talk about it. I just want to go out here and map out the trade. It was a Zach LaVine trade, and the Zach LaVine was going to be traded to the Clippers. In return, the Chicago Bulls get Bones Hyland, fuck. So y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this Zach LaVine trade that's being reported out here, though. It involves the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. The Chicago Bulls, they will receive Norman Powell, PJ Tucker, Bones Hyland, and Zeke Naji. The Denver Nuggets will receive Russell Westbrook and Amir Coffey. The Los Angeles Clippers will receive Zach LaVine and a bunch of draft picks. I'm not really going to chime in on this. I will just mention that I do love the addition of a Norman Powell for sure. If you can get Norman Powell, you get that for sure. But let me know how y'all feeling about this trade. I think me and C-Dub might have to sit down and go live and discuss this further. I think it's a really intriguing topic for sure. But let me know how y'all feel about it. The Chicago Bulls going to get in a 3-team trade with the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Clippers. In return, the Chicago Bulls, they're going to walk away with Norman Powell, PJ Tucker, Bones Hyland, and Zeke Naji. PJ Tucker and you put your power forward, Zeke Naji. Yeah, they gonna get waived, gang. They getting waived. But let me know all that. I don't really want to chime in it. Not right now, at least. I just want to see what your guys' take is on it. Let me know how you feeling about that Zach LaVine trade to where the Bulls will get Norman Powell, PJ Tucker, Bones Hyland, and Zeke Naji. Leave your thoughts and comments on that below. Me and C-Dub definitely gonna have to dive into that a little bit more probably tonight. So y'all be on the lookout. Make sure y'all turn on y'all notifications. We gonna have to work out the kinks on that just to see if we have the time necessary so we can go ahead and get that out for you all later today. But hit that like button, subscribe to the channel on your way out. If you want to call in and be a part of our mailbag episodes, you can call in and leave your voicemail. That number is 773-242-9219. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. Love y'all, Bull Nation. See Red, and of course, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one for sure.